Friends, we are going to be talking about tulips in this video and the history of this amazing flower. Originally, tulips were grown in the Ottoman Empire, which is now present-day Turkey. Tulips were brought to Holland in the 16th century, and they quickly grew in popularity. By the mid-17th century, tulip markets and auctions were everywhere. Tulip mania was a time when bulbs were being bought, sold, and even used as money. Today, tulip festivals in Holland and even in New York are still very popular. For this project, we are going to be drawing a field of tulips that shows one-point perspective. Let's get started. For this project, you are going to need a piece of paper, a ruler, a pencil, and an eraser, and then anything you'd like to color with. I recommend using crayons or oil pastels, but colored pencils or paint would work just as well. The first thing we are going to do on our piece of paper is to draw a straight line. Now this line needs to be above the middle of your paper, and we don't want it too high up because we do want to leave enough room for our sky. So with your ruler, you're going to draw a straight line right across your paper. This is going to be a one-point perspective drawing. And that is a method artists use to show how things get smaller as they get further away and moving towards a vanishing point. This is going to be our horizon line. Our vanishing point is going to be about in the middle. If you'd like to make it off to the side, that's fine, but I like to start with my point in the middle. Now, I did draw a dot there, and that's to help me remember where my vanishing point is. So that's the furthest that I can see with things not getting too fuzzy. Now from that line, I'm going to start by making two more lines coming out from that point. So starting on my horizon line at my vanishing point, I'm going to draw a straight line all the way down to the corner of my paper. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to draw a few more lines. It almost right now looks like it's a road, right? You would be standing right here where this pencil is or my hand, and you'd be looking off way into the distance. We're going to draw a few rows for our tulip fields. Now, all of our lines have to come from our vanishing point. Bigger on the bottom and smaller at the top. And you can draw as many rows as you'd like. I suggest you don't go too crazy with them because you do have to color each one. I think that looks pretty good. Next, I'm going to draw some windmills in the background. So a very staple thing you would see in Holland, just like those tulips. So to draw a windmill, you're going to draw two lines that slightly point upwards with a circle right above them. Then you're going to draw 4 triangles that come off that point. Now remember, this is the furthest distance we can see, so we really don't want them to be big. We actually want them to be pretty small. So once again, 2 lines up and a polka dot with 4 triangles that come off. I think I'm going to draw 3. If you'd like to add some landscape, maybe some bushes or some things in the distance, right? Very small, close to the horizon line or that ground line, okay? Once that is done, we are going to start to color. Now, I'm going to be using crayons to color my picture, but once again, you could use oil pastels, you could use paint, colored pencils, whatever you have access to. I am not going to trace over any of my lines. So I dumped out my crayon box and I chose some colors that I thought would be good for our tulip fields. I have some greens for the lines in between the rows of the tulips. I have purple, yellow, red, I have some pink colors, oranges, and a black. Tulips are a flower that actually come in tons of different colors. They can come in pinks, yellows, they can even come with multiple colors on them, where they're like half one color at the bottom and then move into a different color. They can come with stripes on them. There are some tulips that have rounded petals and some that have these very lacy petals. There's even such things as double tulips. Lots and lots of beautiful colors. And if you want, I suggest you Google search images of tulip fields. They are absolutely beautiful. I'm going to start by coloring my horizon line. With my black oil pastel, I'm going to go over that line and color in anything I put way back in that distance. Now I want to take my time and make sure I'm going nice and slow, because we don't actually want our shapes to get any bigger. We want to keep them as small as possible. Because they are far off in the distance. Once that is all colored, the next thing I'm going to do is color these lines that separate each color of tulip I'm going to be making. I'm going to use my green crayons for that. Now, if you would like to make an extra line with your ruler, you can do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be coloring right on top. So if you were going to make that extra line, you would just go straight from your vanishing point and make a nice thin line to divide your rows of tulips. You can do that if you'd like, but once again, I'm just going to go straight to the coloring. And remember, our line gets smaller as it gets closer to that vanishing point. And bigger as it gets further away. Or closer to us. We would be standing right about right here, looking off into the field. Now I'm ready to start coloring my tulips. So remember, I have my horizon line, my vanishing point, which is the furthest point I can see, and I have all my lines leading towards my vanishing point. As I said earlier, tulips can be tons of different colors. And to get that texture of these being a field of tulips, you can do a few things. I'm going to show you the easiest way to get that illusion that there's something growing here. And that's simply by coloring a flat color. I'm going with pink to start. And filling in that entire row. Then I'm going to come back with a little bit darker of a pink. I'm actually going to make these weird little swirly marks, as if there was something there. Now I don't want these to be too big. They're just little curvy marks. So it gives the idea that something's really there. I'm going to come in with my orange. Now you can make all of these tulips the same color if you wanted to. I think it looks really nice when you have those different colors. Come back with a little bit of a darker color, making those marks. Once all your rows of tulips are colored, you could come in with a blue crayon and color your sky, or you could use some watercolor paints. I'm going to be using a blue crayon, so I'm just going to lightly color in my sky. And there you have a beautiful field of tulips. I can't wait to see what you guys create, and I hope you have fun with this project.